Did the NHL Network get the top 20 center rankings wrong in their recent release? I'll let you know my thoughts next. Yo-ho everybody, and welcome to another edition of Yinzer on Hockey. Before we begin, make sure you go down below, hit that like button, click the subscribe button, and make sure you click that little bell so you stay up to date on all the off-season happenings. So yesterday, the NHL Network and NHL.com released their top 20 centers right now. And I don't know their exact criterion for how they rank these centers, whether it's based on foreseen production for the upcoming year or whether it's based on their overall production career-wise or from this past season. I don't know what their criterion is, but just going to kind of give you my thoughts on how they rank them and where I would see things a little bit differently from how they had voted them. So, starting off on the list is number 20 is Leon Draisaitl. I mostly agree with this placement. Maybe there's some other centers deeper down on the list, like a Trocheck up and coming. Maybe Hirschier takes that next step and enters this conversation. But for right now, I kind of agree with this assessment of Leon Draisaitl. Number 19 on the list was Ryan Getzlaf. He's in the back nine of his career. He's played very well. Anaheim is a very consistent franchise when it comes to regular season performance. They're always in the playoff hunt, making the postseason. So I kind of agree with their assessment here. I do think he maybe has underperformed his contract a little bit, but other than that, he's still a consistent player and plays very well from the center position. Here's where I start to disagree with their list a little bit. Number 18, they have Sean Couturier ranked. I think personally this is a little bit of a low ranking for Couturier. And I think that his defensive ability is so underrated. He plays so well in his own zone, plays a full 200-foot game, and with him and Claude Giroux on the same line at the same time, they've been a force and continue to be so. So I think they ranked him a little bit low. I have Couturier ranked at 15 on my list. Number 17 on their list is William Karlsson. I do like this ranking here. I think there's a couple of guys ahead of him that he might just be a little bit better than, and there's a couple of guys, there's Couturier below him that I would have ranked ahead of him. So I think 17 is a comfortable spot for Karlsson. And if we see him replicate the season that he had last year, definitely is going to climb up this list for sure in the next offseason. Number 16 on their list is Matthew Barzal. I have Matthew Barzal ranked 18th only because of the fact that he was a rookie last year. He performed very well. Calder Trophy winner without contest. And now he is going to be the first-line center. Without Tavares on the roster with him, he's going to be the first-line center. I want to see how he performs when he is drawing first-pair defensemen against him versus kind of getting those second and third pairings because teams are trying to match up against Tavares. We'll see how he responds to that added pressure. But for right now, I have him at 18, and NHL.com has him at 16. So, number 15, they have Jack Eichel. I like Jack Eichel. He has handled the responsibility of kind of carrying that franchise in Buffalo for the past couple of years. He has met most of the expectations that people have of him. Now they're starting to build a roster around him, starting to put a lot of talent around him on the ice. I look for him to climb up this list. For right now, I have him ranked 16th. NHL.com has him ranked 15th. So a pretty consensus ranking amongst most people for where they have Jack Eichel. Number 14 on the list is Nicholas Backstrom. I feel like this is a perfect ranking for Nicholas Backstrom. He has been a very, very consistent center for a long time in Washington. Finally got that Stanley Cup that they've been striving for years. I like the way he plays in both ends of the rink. Obviously a great setup man on the power play. So I like Backstrom all around. Number 13 on their list, they have Alexander Barkov. For me, this is a little bit low. I like Alexander Barkov a lot. He's developing into one of the best two-way centers in the league, and I think he's going to continue to climb. He's going to be in the Selke conversation for years to come because of the way he plays end-to-end. He's getting very good in the face-off circle, and he has a very nice distribution of the puck, as well as a pretty good shot to go with it. I think Barkov is going to climb up this list. That is why I have him ranked 12th, and NHL.com has him ranked 13th, but I do look for him to continue to climb up this list as he develops. Number 12 on NHL.com's list is Evgeny Kuznetsov. We're pretty similar in this. I have them ranked 13th, but like I said, it's because of Barkov's defensive ability that I'm starting to shade him up a little bit more. Kuznetsov, very good. One of the best shots for a center iceman in the league. Great wrister and very good stick handler. I like the way Kuznetsov plays, and he is probably the biggest reason, one of the biggest reasons that Washington is now the defending Stanley Cup champions. He had a huge part in that last year, playing on a line with Alexander Ovechkin. His distribution game is getting a lot better, being able to move the puck around, and I like what Kuznetsov is bringing. Number 11 on their list is Steven Stamkos, and to me, this is pretty low. I feel like they are kind of undervaluing Stamkos a little bit based on the year that Kucherov had last year, but I don't think Kucherov has that type of year without Steven Stamkos as his center. Stamkos still has one of the best shots for a center iceman. He's able to move the puck. He's getting a lot better in the face-off circle. His 200-foot game is getting a lot better. He's starting to back-check a lot more. I live in Tampa, so I get to see a lot of the Lightning games and hear a lot of the broadcasts. And Stamkos is still the face of the franchise. And I think he is... They're undervaluing him from NHL.com's perspective. I have him at number 8 on my list. Number 10, they have John Tavares. I like this ranking here for Tavares. He is a top 10 center because he's been able to have consistent production throughout his career, even though he's never had the most talented line mates with him. Now you put him in Toronto with Marner and Nylander and Patrick Marleau, guys like that on his wings, and his production should skyrocket. You could definitely see Tavares being a 90-plus point guy this year, and I could see him climbing up this list so long as he lives up to the pressure that it's going to come with playing in Toronto, being a hometown hero, all that. We'll see how that goes for him, but if he lives up to the expectations, I definitely foresee him climbing up this list. I also have him ranked at number 10 on my list. Number 9, they have Tyler Seguin. I like Tyler Seguin a lot. I think this is a little bit high rankings for him. His game has kind of been dipping down a little bit the last couple of years as far as production goes, but he's still very consistent. Him and Jamie Benn are a powerhouse tandem in the NHL, one of the best 1-2 punches in the league, and I have him at 11 on my list. NHL.com has him at 9. Again, not much variance, and I think he's still a very, very good player and is probably going to remain productive for the next few years. Number 8 on NHL.com's list is Patrice Bergeron. For me, this was a little bit low. I put a little bit more value in a defensive game, both for defensemen as well as forwards. I like to see people who can play the complete game, and I don't think there's a center iceman in the league that plays a complete 200-foot game better than Patrice Bergeron right now. Couturier is entering that conversation as well as Barkov. Kopitar has that level of consistency as well when you play end-to-end. But to me, I think Bergeron is still that shining example of what you want from a Selke candidate, and that's why I have him ranked number 4 on my top centers. And a lot of this is me combining both their resume with my foresight of how they're going to perform this season. And that's why I like Bergeron at number 4. I just think he's got a little bit more consistency. We'll see how his health is coming into this year. If he stays healthy, then obviously he's definitely going to earn that spot at number 4. But NHL.com has him at number 8. Number 7, NHL.com has Mark Scheifele. I like Scheifele a lot. I like the Winnipeg Jets a lot. They are my pick coming into the season to win the Stanley Cup. And Scheifele is a big part of that. He distributes the puck so well. A big part of the reason why, Laine is scoring the goals that he is. Scheifele is a force on the power play. Good face-off guy. His 200-foot game is starting to develop and getting better in his own zone. But right now I have him ranked at number 9 on my list. So a little bit of variance from the NHL.com, but I do like his game as a whole. Number 6 on their list is Anze Kopitar. Defending Selke Trophy winner. He's won it multiple times, and he plays a great 200-foot game. He was also a Hart Trophy finalist last year, had a career year, and I don't think that's going to drop off. As a matter of fact, I think his production is going to increase if he plays on a line with Kovalchuk, and if that's the case, then, Kopitar's numbers are going to go a little bit higher because Kovalchuk still knows how to put the puck in the net, and I think that's going to help Kopitar a lot. I have Kopitar at number 5 on my list, mostly because of what he brings defensively, as well as his ability to move the puck and set other guys up. Number 5 on NHL.com's list is Nathan MacKinnon. I like Nathan MacKinnon a lot. I think he is still growing into his role. He's now pretty much the face of the franchise for Colorado, and he lived up to the pressure of it last year, had a career year, missed a little bit of time, so health may or may not be a concern moving forward. I'm not overly concerned about it. I still think he played like 75 games and still almost scored 100 points. I have him at number 6 on my list, but again, I like to favor the defensive side of the game a little bit more, and we'll see how he builds off of that momentum that he has from last season. Number 4 on NHL's.com list is Austin Matthews. I think this ranking is a little bit high for Matthews. 2 reasons. He's still developing. He hasn't fully, hit his stride in the NHL. He's been very, very, very good. But he still hasn't played a full season. So I want to see him stay healthy for an entire year. And live up to those expectations that he has. I think he's living up to the expectations. Now I would like to see him exceed the expectations. Especially you bring in a guy like Tavares. A lot of that pressure is going to come off of Matthews. And you could see him flourish with a guy like Tavares on his role, with some of that pressure removed from him, as well as some of the defensive alignments that he's going to face now that you have to kind of play the matchup game a little bit different with a guy like Matthews. So we'll see his production next year. I could see him being up in this number 4 spot next year if, he continues his progression, stays healthy, and flourishes with Tavares on his team. You could definitely see him up in this number 4. For right now, I have him ranked number 7. So not much variance. Again, all of these centers are very, very good. Number 3 on NHL.com's list is Evgeny Malkin. 3-2-1 was never going to come as a surprise to anybody, but I disagree. I have Evgeny Malkin ranked number 2 on my list. Part of that is because when Evgeny Malkin has the puck on his stick, I don't think there's a more dominant player in the NHL. He is able to create his own time and space and get other people open at the same time, distributes the puck very well, consistently in the top 5 or, top 10 at a minimum of the scoring race every year. He's got that little bit of issue with staying healthy. He hasn't had a full season. Last year was better. I think he only missed like 6 or 7 games last year, so you like to see that. And I think given a full season, a full healthy season, he's going to be back in that Art Ross conversation again. So I have him at number 2 on my list. Number 2 on NHL.com's list is Sidney Crosby. There's not much you can say about Sidney Crosby that's not already been said. He has been the face of the NHL for the longest time. That mantle is kind of being passed now a little bit. So a little bit of pressure is actually coming off of Crosby to perform, other than the expectations that most fans have of the Pittsburgh Penguins. They expect them to be a Stanley Cup contender, and because of that, Sidney Crosby gets that little added pressure of having to carry the team to the playoffs. As much as everybody says, well, Malkin has benefited from playing with Crosby, I think Crosby has also benefited from playing with Malkin, because teams do try to match up against both of them, and depending on what zone they're starting in, that dictates their defensive alignment a little bit. But Penguins fans have been blessed to have these two centers on their team for the past 13 or 14 years. We appreciate it. We love it. And to have them ranked at number 3 and number 2 respectively, regardless of how you rank them, it's really, really good. So number 1 on the list is no surprise to anybody, and you will not hear any argument from me. It's Connor McDavid. I don't think that's a debate anymore. There is not much to argue about it. He is the most talented player in the NHL right now. I would like to see Edmonton continue to build the team around him, make the team better so that he doesn't have so much pressure to have to carry that team all the time. But as of right now, he's still the best player in the NHL. He's going to be the face of the NHL for probably the next 10 years. So if he continues to live up to the pressure that has been placed upon him, then there's no stopping this guy. He could, maybe he breaks some of Gretzky's Edmonton records, of just his time in Edmonton. Who knows? But for right now, he's number 1 on the centers, number 1 for overall player in the NHL, in my opinion. So it's just my thoughts. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Who is the best center right now, or who is an underrated center that didn't show up on these lists? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Follow me on all the social media. And until I see you next time, have a good day.